What's up? This is Tasha of the Chimed In Chicks, and I am here to chime in on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 1. We're back. I'm so glad that Real Housewives of Atlanta is back. I'm loving already how the season is starting. Let's just jump in. We kick it off with Kenya, the return of Kenya. And she is back in a different way. Now she has her beautiful baby, Brooklyn, and she's a little bit of a softer, still shady Kenya so far. It opens up the show with her just talking about how she has changed. She admits, she used to be a hot mess in a lot of ways, and the baby couldn't help but change her. That's what's up. Hope it continues. We shall see. The flashbacks on her shadiness were hilarious. And then she opens up a little bit about Trouble in Paradise. Her husband, Mark, is a restaurateur, and she thought he was going to be around more than he was, and he ain't. He is basically picking work over being a father and picking work over helping her with the baby. And so she tried to call him even in the scene, and it acted like it was a wrong number. So she was like, strange. Okay, girl. Then we go to the other new mama, Porsha with PJ. And she was confessing that Dennis had moved out, but most likely she kicked him out. And she saw some stuff in his phone that was not appropriate for an engaged man. And adding on to that, there was stuff in the blogs. And it showed a cutaway to a blog that was basically accusing a woman by the name of Sincerely Ward, which you may have remembered seeing on Wags Atlanta. She's a socialite in the Atlanta area, and they were saying that she was sleeping with Dennis the whole time. Porsha didn't say that it was sincerely. All she said is she saw text messages, and it just let her know, based off the timeline of the text messages, that he was being unfaithful while she was carrying his child and while they were engaged. And she decided to not tell her mother and sister anything specific, but I'm sure they could put it together, because as much as she was crazy about him, the only thing that would make them split up or him get put out, it had to be something with infidelity. Like, she didn't have to say that, but so far she hadn't given them those details. She just told them, we not together no more. And then we go over to Candy with Ace, and he's just continuing to grow right in front of our eyes, growing quicker than I'm not even gonna say it, but y'all know what I was gonna say, but I ain't gonna say it. And there shows a FaceTime call with a surrogate, so it's confirmed that she has went all the way through with the surrogate process, and it is the surrogate that she met at Dr. Jackie's office, had a little crossover moment with Married to Medicine Atlanta. And it was the surrogate she met there. And she was just opening up about how it kind of feels weird that she's not going to know when the baby first kicked some woman is. And all of the things that she experienced carrying the baby in her body, she's not going to be able to experience. And so she just kept saying how weird it was. Like, this is weird. This is weird. So I guess she's still getting used to it. But Todd was the voice of reason. Todd was like, well, I think it's dope. We couldn't do it, because, she had the fibroid issues and she had to go through a lot to get the first baby, and then both of the embryos didn't sustain. And so he's like, well, hey, that way didn't work, and now we have another way. I think that's dope. So that was cool. Anybody else wonder how much the surrogate get paid? Especially Candy surrogate. Maybe that's just me being nosy and curious, but I was like, wow, I wonder. I hear it's a lot, though, but if it's somebody that she met through Dr. Jackie, I'm sure, all is well. And then we go over to Eva. So this is the babies episode. This is the mamas. All of them are in mama mode. And so we go over to Eva, have a lunch with her husband. She is full on prego. And they're trying to still find a new house. And I don't know what the truth was to all the rumors from last season. I just know they're always moving or talking about moving. So, I can't keep up. But I don't know when this was exactly shot. They usually shoot them during the summer. Sometimes summer going into the fall or into the holidays. So I think it's been like a year since the last time we saw them, and they're still talking about finding a house. So I don't know what's up with that. Anyways, they talked about that. They talked about her being still at Dish, and then that led the conversation to talking about Porsha. But she wasn't shady, shockingly, because she's usually is. And she was saying, that must be hard to deal with all of that in the press about the father of your child. And, obviously she went through some rumors herself. So I was glad to see that she wasn't like, ha, ha, ha. But she was actually acting like, a human being. Then we go to Cynthia and Mike cuddled up at Lake Bailey in the bed. They're so cute. And Cynthia is in full-on thirst mode. And that lets you know she must really love this dude, because she was never, well, I can't say never, but I never saw her to this intensity with Hill, how she was with Peter. Like, Peter, you could tell Peter wanted her more than she wanted Peter. And I feel like this time she wants this guy like a whole lot. Like, she's like tagging the man in wedding dresses on social media. While they're laying in the bed talking about, I think I want to die. I'm not perfectly okay with a band. If I'm out shopping and I see something, I'm going to let you know. Like, and he hasn't even proposed yet. Like, I hope I never be like that. But I guess she's like, at this point, no shame in her game. Okay. And then they're trying to figure out long distance as well. He lives in California. That's where his work is. She lives in Atlanta. That's where her 5,000 million businesses are. And she's like, as long as we're together most of the time, she's cool. If you see on social media, it seems like she does spend a lot of time in LA. So, hey, I wonder if she's going to become a real housewife of Beverly Hills one day. Now, that would be interesting. Moving on, Kenya and Cynthia meet up at one of Cynthia's 500,000 million businesses. But hey, she's becoming a mogul just like Candy looks like. She got the accessories. She got, her modeling career. I don't know if she still do the Bailey agency, because I ain't heard them talk about that. She has Cynthia Bailey eyewear and, Seagram's and now wine. And so she met there. And her sister, she's going to be the manager of the wine place. So she left her sister there and went with Kenya to a cookie place, and that's how Kenya started talking about the fact that her baby she was going to do like a event premiere, which I love how she said premiere in Brooklyn. And I was thinking, isn't this the same lady that used to give Phaedra so much flack about her extravagant birthday parties for her kids, and now you want to do a premiere? It's basically the same thing as a sympathy. So, but that's always how this group goes. Anyways, they're talking about that. And then they go into talking about Porsha. Everybody talking about Porsha rumor gossip. And apparently one of the rumors was bestiality. Yikes. Which is basically, for those of you that don't know, is when a man likes to have sex with animals. And that's one of the rumors that came up. And bravo. Oh my gosh, bravo on your shady editing. I cannot. They cut away to where Porsha was in like a little pajama onesie. And she was dressed like a dog, I believe. And it had a tail. And she was like, why are you always grabbing the tail? You like grabbing the tail. And then he like had this sexy face staring at her as a dog. I was like, wow, bravo, you were so shady. You trying to say this is proof that the man is into bestiality? Like, y'all need to chill. And I'm not talking about Cynthia chill. Yeah, so I also noticed in this moment that Kenya was actually not using this moment to milk. You remember how I used to be every time somebody would say something bad about Porsha, she would be so like, and then like just jump in and rub salt in the wound, stir the pot, all those analogies. But this time she actually was like, well, I hope, she finds out the truth and has peace. And like, she kept it. I was like, oh, look at this classy hoe. Look at her actually being like mature and not. So that's when I knew for real, okay, her and Porsha are for real on a good page. And she's trying to respect that friendship. So I loved that. What else? She had to have a come to Jesus meeting with Cynthia and tell her to stop being so thirsty. Bruh, this man want to propose to you, he gonna propose. And you need to stop tagging him in wedding pictures. But hey, I guess you say she's 52 at this point. I don't care. So that was funny. Then we go over to Porsha. That scene was actually really hard to watch because, first of all, her mama eating up the food she was trying to fix for Porsha. And then Porsha's sister comes by. And Porsha comes downstairs and they try to get her to eat. And she's like, she'll eat in a little bit. And she was just kind of opening up, talking about how she has been trying. And based off what she's saying, it looked like she has been going through a depression because from what her mom was saying, like, oh, well, at least it's good that she's eating. That means maybe she wasn't really having an appetite before and then wanting to just be isolated in the house all day. She was saying, she tried, and for like 4 hours, she tried to get up and get out going, and by the time, she was close, it was like, I might as well not go. That's definitely signs of that's definitely signs of depression, which made me feel really bad. But listen, when somebody you really care about do something you never thought they would do, that's how that be going. Like, it be wrecking you. That's why sometimes it's like, do you even want to like fall in love? But I can imagine how much worse it feels when that's somebody that not only was your fiance, but you actually had a child with them and this family that you thought you had. Like, you're bringing other people into the picture, like, for what? Like, and that's why I'll be saying niggas gonna be niggas gonna be niggas. That's just how I feel. Moving on. The next scene, Candy, Eva, and Cynthia meet up at OLG, Old Lady Gang. And first of all, Eva ordered everything. I was like, oh, you can tell she's pregnant because she's not eating like no model right now. She's eating up the whole restaurant. And then Sincerely Ward, which is the alleged mistress, sends over a drink to the table. And right after the drink, she appears at the table. Like, why you even send a drink if you were just going to come over there? Anyways, she asked her if she could have a seat, and Candy recognized who she was. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They seemed like it was a surprise, but she was mic'd. So either she told the Bravo producers, hey, I'm the girl, that's connected to the Porsha rumor, and I want to talk to them. And they was like, hell yeah, let's mic you up. Or they arranged for her to meet them at the restaurant to add some juiciness to the storyline. Either way, I'm not buying them being completely 1,000% surprised that she was there. This is a show. Things have to be produced, okay? Like, nobody just rolls up onto taping unless they're allowed. So anyway, she's like, I don't even know him. I've never, but I find that hard to believe, even if they didn't have affair, which hopefully they did, and I don't really believe they did. But for her to go all the way out the way and say she don't know him when she is a socialite, when he owns all these businesses, like, Atlanta is a big, small city. I'm sure she knows him. So I wasn't with her on that part because people be lying to make themselves look better. So I'm not sure about that part. Anyways, they're like, thank you for sharing this information with us. And then, she went on her way. And so then they decided, we need to talk to Porsha about this in person. If it were me, I probably would have hit her up immediately and was like, and let her know what's what. But they decided to hold on to the information, which is always a bad idea, as we see in the next few scenes. So the next scene is everybody getting ready for Kenya's baby's premiere party, and it's a Barbie themed party, which is so apropos. I love that. Even though Porsha's been dealing with depression, she decided to go because she does care about her and Kenya being in a good place. And so they show everybody showing up. Mark, the daddy of the baby, is not going to be there. I thought that wasn't cool. Because if it's a special event for her to introduce the baby to their friends and maybe even some of their family, and knowing everything she went through to even get to a point of having a baby, like, if you're the owner of the restaurants, okay, if you don't have no type of second command or front of house manager or executive chef that can't hold down the fort, or if it's a business meeting that only you can make the deal, you couldn't move that to another day. Like, I thought the point of being an entrepreneur, being your own boss, is that you don't have to miss out on stuff because you are your own boss. So I think that was just very telling that he didn't come, because entrepreneurs don't really have to ever say, I can't, I have to work, when it comes to the scheduling of important events, because they make their schedule. I know, because I'm a part-time entrepreneur right now, and I still make my own schedule. Anyways, so then everybody starts showing up, and they caption Cynthia as the thirsty bride Barbie. Now, I will say Cynthia is good at not taking herself too seriously and don't mind like making a joke of herself. She looked great in the dress though, and she recruited the whole family, her niece, her daughter. Like, she had like a flower girl and a bridesmaid and everything. That was hilarious. So she owned her thirstiness, girl. All right. And then Eva was there as workout Barbie. I'm mad at how amazing she looked at 6 months pregnant. We got the same size belly, and I ain't never had a baby. I was hating just a little bit. So her outfit was cute. And Candy liked the concept of rock star Barbie. I wasn't sure if it was giving me rock star as much as like 80s Barbie. Like, nothing, it was nothing really shredded. There weren't any like metal details. It just looked like colorful and wild. So I don't know if she nails that. Holiday Barbie was cute. Porsha, her dress was so big and grand, she almost about upstage Kenya. But I'm glad that Kenya didn't take it that way, because they're trying to move forward, not back. So we don't need no hateration. Holleration and necessary. Anyways, that was interesting though, that there was, I'm assuming, was a friend or family member, but because he was a male, she was like, Mark would freak out that if he saw another man holding his baby. And that's what be confusing to me. It's like, we go back and forth as black people in between community, family takes a village. You want to surround your children with strong men and surround your children with strong women. But it's like at a party where people are there to meet your baby and only the women in the room can hold the baby. Like, I didn't understand that. Especially if he's not there. Like, it seemed like it would allow the other men in their collective life to step up and be like, hey, you know, he can't be here, but, you know, I'll love on him in his absence. Like, I don't know. I'm detecting a little bit of narcissism there, a little bit of control freakness there. And there was a couple of things she had mentioned season before last. When they were on a train, I think they were out of town somewhere, and she was just talking about like how he wants things and how he has to have things and certain rules and certain like way things go. And even then I thought, but I think this definitely shows that again. Like, I don't know about that. Then we asked, we see them talking about where Eva's baby is, and Porsha's like, well, where's your kid? And she was saying that, you know, well, these events get a little crazy, and so I didn't want to bring my child. And I was with Porsha, I was like, well, this is a kid's event. First of all, why you even coming to a kid's event and not bring your kid? Like, you might as well just not have come. And then second of all, what you think gonna happen? And I had to give it to Porsha. She stood up for her new friendship with Kenya, but also, hello, of all the seasons of this show, this is the 12th season, I've never seen them get crazy around the kids. I'm trying to think if maybe at one of the little workout events, if the kids were there or not, that might have been the only time, but I really don't think so. So I found that interesting that she used that as her reason. Like, I'd much rather her just say, I want to bring my child. I want to come by myself, or I want to let the babysitter and take over and I have some time to myself. But to say, well, you know, it gets crazy at these events and you know, I don't really know Kenya like that. I would have been offended. Like, sometimes in the past, I feel like Kenya got offended up about stuff she didn't need to, but that I absolutely would have been offended. Like, you feel like, so if I got my 7-month-old baby here and you didn't feel like it was safe to bring your older child here, like, what? Like, really? Like, people got new, like, brand spanking new babies in here under one. So that was crazy to me. So then Porsha and Kenya went in the back because they're both working on putting the babies to sleep. And that's basically when they had their little moment, which I loved. I almost teared up a little bit because I've been watching the show since season 1. So to see this relationship get to this point, I was like, oh, snap, trying to make a thug cry. So it was nice for them both to kind of apologize and own their stuff. And although I've always been team Porsha, you know, there was definitely some moments that she went below the belt as well. Always in retaliation, though. But it was good for her to, like, you know, I feel the same way. I'm sorry for what happened in the past, and all we can do is move forward. But, you know, they always say move forward, and then they go back to it. But this move forward felt different. It felt, like, legit. And I appreciated seeing the growth. Yes, thank you, Jesus, for growth. Hallelujah. So that was cool. And so then Porsha take that moment, and Porsha thinks she's slick. She was like, she set Kenya up because she's like, well, I'm glad everybody brought their kids. No, everybody didn't bring their kids. Porsha's like, I'm glad everybody brought their kids. And that prompted Kenya to say, well, except for Eva. And then Porsha's like, oh, yeah, girl, you was right on the front of your mind that she didn't bring the kids. So don't, oh, yeah. And so she's like, oh, yeah. She uses that time to basically tell her the conversation and kind of throw flip-flopper, i.e. Cynthia, under the bus, and was like, yeah, Cynthia was like agreeing with her that she shouldn't have brought him. And that wasn't, now I did feel like Cynthia was speaking on it a little too much, like she should have just let Eva say her thoughts, but Cynthia was kind of like defending, explaining, supporting her decision. I did get that vibe. But it wasn't to the point that Cynthia went as far as saying, oh, yeah, I didn't think she should bring her either. And that's how Porsha presented it to Kenya. So we're going to see how that plays out later. That was a little bit shady of Porsha to bring it to her that way. And in return, T for T, Kenya's like, oh, well, since we're sharing, she's like, Sincerely Ward was that old lady gang. And she ran into Cynthia and Candy and Eva. And so, of course, her saying it like that, since we know that at Candy's, there was a function, Candy's birthday, I believe it was, and one of the girls that was Dennis' ex was brought there by a member of the Candy-coded clique, crew, gang, whatever you want to call them. So, of course, Porsha's going to go back to think about that. So I was like, oh, why did she have to bring it to her like that? But then she's like, well, let me just bring them in here. And, of course, they was mad because they had just made the girl agree outside. We're going to talk about this with Porsha, but not here. But we're going to talk to her about it. And so I knew Kenya was going to do that, though. Even when she tried to do it, then they grabbed her arm to stop her like, no, we're going to tell her later. I knew Kenya was going to do it because, I mean, not everything going to change. She has to still stir the pot a little bit because that's why they brought her back. They didn't just bring her back to talk about her baby because she's a good pot stirrer. Get that check, okay? So they brought her back there and they told her what Sincerely said and they thought that she would be happier. And she's like, well, I'm not. Like, okay, it wasn't her, but he still cheated. That might be good to disprove what one of the blogs said, but he still cheated. So, and I couldn't even be mad at her for that. Like, yeah, I mean, okay, it wasn't her, but it was still somebody. So it basically ended on them trying to squash that beef. They didn't even get to the Cynthia backing up Eva's foolishness. But all in all, it was a good first episode. We kind of got caught up to what's happening currently in everybody's life. The trailer looks so juicy because everything seems good and then things start unraveling for everyone. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, or comment at least one of those. I ain't gonna make y'all do all of them. And I will be reviewing for the rest of the season. I'll be introducing some of my friends that will chime in with me. Again, this is your girl Tasha, Chime In Chick, and I will catch y'all next time. Bye.